Yeah, Surgical Goblin Soking. Who's going to be in first place? Who's going to be in second?
A battle of emotes from these two guys. Surge throws away some little ice spirity type deals and gets the connection onto the pump there. Nice zap from Surge. Takes those poor bats out, and the miner has finished off the pump. Surge with a decent punish there. He's actually only ahead of by a little bit of elixir. I think Soking's still doing pretty fine here, but Surge brought that left side down to 2394. Takes just one little archer hit on the tower.
That one little archer hit.
Yep.
Could it be the difference?
Could be. We've seen towers go down to literally 1 hit point today.
That is true. Pump comes down on the right from Surgical Goblin, and we're going to have a P.E.K.K.A. from Soking.
Interesting. Well, Soking won 2-1 the last time that we saw these guys play on day 2. Was not a decisive victory, but we got 2 big beatdown decks from these guys this time.
Wow. Poison! Oh my god, that poison.
That value poison, taking out the minions on the back, being able to finish off the Musketeer. Skellies from the graveyard stacking up, and that's going to be a lot of damage. Surgical Goblin zaps him down, but there's no defense against the P.E.K.K.A. P.E.K.K.A. locks on for a chop. Miner to be able to push him off, but the bat's going to get a little bit more damage in as well. And the P.E.K.K.A. hits again! Right side down to 67 hit points, and Surgical Goblin is in a lot of trouble. Soking pulls far ahead in the early exchange.
And just like you were mentioning before, what type of deck you'd have a P.E.K.K.A. versus a Mega Knight right there. If he had a Mega Knight, you could have easily pulled that away with the Ice Golem. P.E.K.K.A. easily one-shots.
Another attempted punish on the left side. Graveyard going to tick away at the Elixir Collector, as well as locking on to the tower. Bringing it down over 1,000 hit points, pulled off that left lane. Surge really needs a massive turnaround to be able to win this game.
Yeah, 3 Musketeers being split once again. Poison coming out, and Surgical Goblin just got to be shaking his head.
So he clips the tower and takes out those Muskies on the right side with the poison zap combo. This is going to be a 1-0 lead for Soking. And even on the left side, Soking is ahead in damage. Tower down to 1444. He's going to soak a miner on these archers in the back here. We need a quick zap to be able to take out those bats, but not quick enough. Defense resets, and Double Bandit moving on in gets chopped apart by Soking's defensive P.E.K.K.A.s.
Just like that, Soking gonna take game number 1. Surgical Goblin, no matter what he does, there's just gonna be a poison coming down.
To take out the Muskies, yep.
Yeah.
Graveyard set up now on the left lane. P.E.K.K.A. Soking for it, and Soking has shown us what is up. Left side down to 173 hit points, would have even gone down to a poison. That was effectively a 2-0 win for Soking.
Yeah, Soking asserted dominance in game number 1.
Shout out to Tag.
Shout out to
doing that dominance assertion.
Dominance assertion.
What a way to start the series.
Oh, unbelievable. Like, especially that you finished second to him in GamesCon. You know, he's kind of referred to Surgical Goblin as, you know, the best player in the world. Right now, it's looking like Soking might be taking over that spot, and a lot of clout from Surgical Goblin.
What an amazing performance there, and especially the fact that he was able to bring a new deck in here. I mean, and Chetan, have you ever heard of a P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard deck before?
I mean, it was kind of there, but like, not really to this effect with the archers, with the bats, because bats really weren't around when, you know, that deck was really big.
Yeah.
Great switch up with the deck. It was kind of still a quick cycle, and it stops, you know, Mega Knights. It stops a lot of factors that would really kill you. And just like that, you saw P.E.K.K.A. got to the tower.
Shutting down those poor ladies set up on defense. 3 Muskies and Bandits had nothing to say against Big Mama P.E.K.K.A. That's why she's the boss. That's why she's going to stay the boss. We have got another game coming up next. If Soking gets the win, he is going to be moving on with a victory over Surgical Goblin. He was 2-1 last time. Do you think Surgical Goblin's going to be able to put this thing into a tiebreaker?
You have to say yes. I mean, you can't expect this series to go 2-0. These players are just on another level. Surgical Goblin is not going to go down without a fight here. I think he is going to make this game a statement. He's going to take this as a victory and hopefully try to rattle Soking. I think Surgical Goblin's probably going to run an interesting deck here, run something completely new that we haven't seen, kind of like what Soking did, but, you know, kind of expected something like that with a graveyard. I think we might see a Sparky come out from Surgical Goblin or something very interesting to try to just get a victory here and really say to Soking, I'm coming back. I want that #1 spot.
Ooh, the flying troops coming on out. We got minions from Surge. I like that from him. I still think that the minions are going to be better than bats in this exchange. Ooh, quick attack at the left. We got bats supporting a balloon miner push. What the what? Soking drops an elixir collector in the center to distract his balloon. It gets absolutely obliterated. And how can Soking turn this thing around now? Calling the GG. That was clearly an unfortunate misplay. Left side tower gets torn apart.
Ugh, that's before the game even begins. It's over.
Well, what should we do for the next 2 minutes in chat?
Talk about the Frosty the Snowman.
Move it in on the right lane. Looks like he'll explode on the archers. Surgical Goblin looking confident here, though.
Pekka on the right. Minions from Surge.
Soking stroking his non-existent beard there, trying to figure out his next line of play. But it's not going to be an easy one.
No,
Marching down the right side with a Pekka. Ooh, she will be able to chop up this Mega Knight. I think that's a pretty good
yeah, no, it's a pretty good
exchange
exchange.
Here. It's Pekka Graveyard again.
But the minion horde, though, gonna do work.
Stabs down that poor Pekka. Poison finishes it off. But Soking not able to turn this thing around just yet. About 700 damage off the right side tower. Not a terrible hit. Or wait, no, that's 900 damage. That's even more than I thought.
Yeah, but, I mean, you got to deal with now a 7 elixir Mega Knight full health.
Yikes. Can we stop it? Soking with the Ice Golem and bats to start stabbing it down. Bit by bit.
Where's
They're
the
getting
zap?
some work done.
Want to buy Zap.
Want to buy Zap, please. Please sell me Zap. I need a Zap right now. And that's what the Mega Knight's saying.
Yeah, and he never got one. Here comes the balloon on the right-hand side. He was loading up for this. The Zap comes down. Is he going to play another defensive bump? The answer is no.
Zap and Poison. Archers at the very end there keep that balloon off tower. But what an expensive trade in Surgical Goblin's favor. Soking dropping, what was that? 9 elixir worth just to stop the balloon. And it still gets death damage on tower.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
But sometimes there's nothing that you can do. I feel like Soking just had no answer that worked there.
No answer at all. Minions, this is going to be a poison.
Double minion deck from Surgical Goblin. He's got the Horde and the standard minions. Poison in the back gets that Graveyard a chance to connect down to triple digits now, but he's running out of time. I don't think with 15 seconds left he's going to be able to get the win.
I don't think so at all. I think
Last chance.
Ugh.
Graveyard coming in, but it targets onto the skeletons, and that is good game. Soking has no way to get the damage off, and with especially, oh, that's actually an offensive poison. He had a chance there. I like the chutzpah from Soking, throwing it all on the line and trying to get that tower down to put it into overtime, but there was no way that he's going to be able to do that, especially with that early defensive fail. Balloon cruising on in for an easy tower kill. Surgical Goblin puts this thing to a 1-1 draw, and we are going to have a tiebreaker match.
Yeah, not only was it, you know, a miss played because it didn't pull it enough, at 6 elixir you just dropped on the field, it got you nada. Blue still hit the tower.
Yep, it still did, and we just, I hate to show this again to you guys, but you have to see the crucial mistake at the beginning of this game. Balloon cruising on in is not too much for Soking to deal with, but dropping a defensive elixir collector in the front gets a distraction off for a little while, but Miner Soking in the back gives that balloon just enough oomph to get to the tower, drops it easy peasy in the first 45 seconds.
45 seconds, a tower is already eliminated, but just like we thought, game number 3, this is going to be a great one. This is going to be who finishes #1, and now only one match. 3 minutes, unless we go into overtime, is going to decide who is going to be the King Cheese, if you will. Who's going to be eating their nachos tonight?
It would be somewhat poetic to see Surgical Goblin take the 2-1 victory over Soking this time. That would mean that they would have both had 3 game wins against each other and 1 match win against each other. I don't know, though. If Soking pulls off the 2-1 again, he might have something to brag about in the team locker room later on. And it would make sense if he brings a new deck to get the win. I think Surgical Goblin has got this P.E.K.K.A. graveyard deck figured out, knows how to counter it, knows how to shut it down, and he's not really afraid of it anymore. Soking has to bring something new again if he wants to be able to trick Surgical Goblin and get the victory.
Yeah, the only good thing about the patch just being dropped tomorrow and the balance changes kind of being dropped is...
Yesterday, not tomorrow.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yesterday, Soking is able to kind of hide his decks from Surgical Goblin a little bit here. He knew he was going to play him tomorrow. He probably was practicing with somebody else, you know, kind of hiding his decks, anticipating that he knew he was going to go up to Surgical Goblin. He knew he was going to need to bring something new, bring something fresh, and I kind of am interested to see what he has cooked up. He had the P.E.K.K.A. graveyard, tried to play it twice in a row. Surgical Goblin was not having none of that. Hopefully he doesn't play it 3 times in a row, because I think Surgical Goblin's going to take a victory if he does.
The thing about these games at the CCGS is that you can't just play the best decks and play them better than anyone else. You've got to bring something completely new that your opponent cannot predict at all. Defense is such a refined art, and these guys have completely mastered it, that to just give them the same thing that they've been going up against since time immemorial in Clash Royale is not going to work. You got to bring something new. Oh, Ice Spirit gets one shot by the cannon cart. That's a bad exchange for Surgical Goblin. Takes about 600 damage out the right lane. Soking taking this time to pump up, but he's got a big counterattack, punishing hard with an Expo push out the right.
Wow, a Giant, though, the #1 thing you never want to see when you're an Expo player is a Giant. But look at this. This
Plenty
Giant
of damage from Surge. Shuts this push down, and I'm pretty sure that's a healthy Expo at the right lane. Bats are going to get a little bit of damage off of it. But forcing the cannon card out from Soking, he's got...
full pump, though.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tricky one here. I think that Ice Golem actually pushes that cannon card out of range, and even if it dies now...
Is this a graveyard with a Giant cannon card pump?
I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. The GG from Surgical Goblin, not happy about seeing that additional pump going down. Soking has just got so much elixir to play around with now.
Yeah, even if Surgical Goblin had a rocket in this deck, if he tried to rocket, he would have lost. Oh.
I mean, he's got to have either rocket or fireball in there, right? Expo decks almost always play some sort of mid to large spell in them.
I would hope so. He's going to be in trouble on this push.
Tanking damage with this Giant, though. It looks like he is in a commanding position now. Soking moving in hard on the left. Good defense out the right by Surgical Goblin, but yeah, I don't see a big spell in there yet. If he's got one, he's not willing to play it.
Not yet, and I mean, Surgical Goblin, not in a terrible position. I mean, Expo does beat 3 Musketeers, but you got a Giant, you got a cannon card as well. Surge just playing defense.
I haven't seen a single big spell from Surge, and Soking is punishing them perfectly. This is exactly what you do when you have a Collector and your opponent doesn't have any way of taking them out. You play the long game. You're willing to build up massive pushes with Giant out in front, especially to soak damage from the Expo, and pretty much anything on the back end to get the damage in. Musketeers are just an absolute overkill from Soking here. You could see them getting distracted a little bit over on the left lane, but a Giant moving in to support on the right side means that the cannon cart and Musketeer that still survived will deal a massive amount of damage to the right side. We've got Ice Spirit archers on defense. There's just too light, too chippy to be able to finish off this big push that Soking has put together. Tesla coming in at the last second for Surgical Goblin, getting absolutely no value whatsoever, sitting there in the center of the arena. Almost a 2-crown for Soking as he will pump his fist. The victory for the Spanish player. Team Queso will retain their top position here, the top 2 players, Soking and Surge, but Soking has moved ahead of his friend from the Netherlands.
That's it. Over. Two-Pay Army has prevailed. 11-2. 10-3 for Surgical Goblin. Just like we said, you'd have to bring something completely new, something Surgical Goblin has never seen before. He obviously has never seen that because you don't run Expo into Giant pump cannon cart. You just don't.
No.
You just don't. And he even had the quick cycle. So even if you try to get down Expos as fast as possible, I have Ice Spirit, I have Skeletons, I can easily cycle back 4 cards to my next Giant to shut down your Expo over and over again. And we're looking at